Hello, I'm Danielle R. Holley, and I'm the president of Mount Holyoke College of South Hadley. We are proud to host the 2026 AIM State of Massachusetts Business Address, delivered today by one of our distinguished alums, AIM President and CEO Brooke Thomson, class of 2001. Mount Holyoke is the nation's leading gender-diverse women's college. We are a community of scholars and leaders too bold for boundaries. Our liberal arts education prepares students to think critically, make connections across disciplines, and build a better world. And our students are on the leading edge of change. Mount Holyoke provides challenging academic programs, and we emphasize both career readiness and collaborative interdisciplinary learning. This equips students with the skills they need to take on real-world problems before and after graduation. And our alums are leading the way in the boardroom and in the classroom, in the lab and in the chamber, in the field and on the stage. Our alums include Oscar and Pulitzer Prize winners, trailblazers in poetry and politics, and innovators in medical research and computer programming. Higher education in this state includes everything from large research-based public universities to bustling community colleges to private liberal arts colleges such as ours. Higher education is a powerful driver of Massachusetts' economy and builds community through our cultural infrastructure. This sector employs about 165,000 residents statewide, brings scores of people to the Commonwealth, and fosters regional growth through research and services. We look forward to hearing what is in store for Massachusetts in 2026. So please welcome Brooke Thomson, President and Chief Executive Officer of Associated Industries of Massachusetts, for the State of Massachusetts Address.
Thank you, President Holley, and thank you for your leadership at Mount Holyoke, which is part of a higher education sector that has made Massachusetts a global economic powerhouse. It's an honor for me to return to my alma mater, where I came as an 18-year-old from the Midwest to earn my bachelor's degree and begin what has been an incredible odyssey here in Massachusetts. My story here at Mount Holyoke College is in many ways a metaphor for the unique role that colleges and universities play in creating economic prosperity. A world-class education system is more than simply books and final exams. It is a magnet for people from throughout the world, yes, even from Kansas City in my case, to learn, to achieve, and then to remain in the Commonwealth to contribute to the common good. It's a path followed by some of the most prominent business leaders in Massachusetts, from Charles Francis Adams, Abigail Johnson, and Ray Stata, to Amar Bose, Robert Kraft, and Edwin Land. Education is one of the many assets that make Massachusetts what it is, a center of wealth, innovation, research, invention, and reinvention. These assets have defined a system that has made Massachusetts an economy of firsts, from the World Wide Web to anesthesia for surgeries, to the integrated circuit, to liquid-fueled rockets, to the first gas-powered automobile and the computer spreadsheet. And yes, even the humble chocolate chip cookie. To paraphrase Ralph Waldo Emerson, Massachusetts commands attention as the place which was appointed in the destiny of nations to lead the civilization of North America. That destiny will not change in 2026, despite the fact that the Massachusetts economy has become a sort of punching bag in the national political debate. The headwinds facing the Massachusetts enterprise are unmistakable, as the federal government has hollowed out $3.7 billion from the state budget and eliminated some $48 million in research grants following multiple court challenges. And that doesn't include the uncertainty surrounding federal funding for critical transportation projects, such as the replacement of the Cape Cod bridges and the Alston Turnpike realignment. We remain clear-eyed about our own challenges as Massachusetts seeks to maintain economic growth. The high cost of doing business in Massachusetts, from taxes to energy, continues to drive companies to expand to lower-cost states or to relocate there altogether. CNBC currently ranks Massachusetts 49th among the 50 states for cost of doing business and 42nd for business friendliness. Providing good health insurance to our workers has become prohibitively expensive. The surging price of housing, healthcare, and other costs of living threaten to drain the talent pool that make Massachusetts the most productive state in the nation. Massachusetts has the nation's third largest rate of domestic outmigration of young adults, aged 26 to 35. Aging transportation infrastructure and highway congestion affect productivity and logistics, particularly for companies that rely on commuting workers or regional supply chains. Small businesses struggle with dense and often burdensome regulatory environment. Our unemployment insurance system is projected to become insolvent in 2028. And the Massachusetts Taxpayers Foundation recently reported that private employment growth has stalled in Massachusetts. AIM and its 3,400 member companies continue to work with the Healey-Driscoll administration, the legislature, and our partners in federal, state, and municipal government to address these cost issues in a manner that will allow the Commonwealth to thrive now and in the future. Associated Industries of Massachusetts remains the only business association with the breadth, size, and influence to create real, lasting, and positive change for Massachusetts businesses through advocacy. The message from the Massachusetts business community to state government is clear for 2026. Maintain budget stability and impose no new taxes on businesses. Address energy affordability through an all-of-the-above approach to energy that relies on conventional, baseload energy sources such as natural gas, while valuing and supporting the growth of clean energy industries and projects. And create a comprehensive framework for data privacy that safeguards consumers' personal information while preventing unintended consequences that would be confusing, cumbersome, and costly to implement. Despite these external and internal challenges, however, I assert today that Massachusetts will prosper because this Commonwealth owns the economy of tomorrow. Our world-class colleges and universities mean people come here to learn. Our renowned scientific research institutions and cutting-edge companies mean people come here to innovate. Our unparalleled venture capital and banking infrastructure means promising enterprises come here for capital. Our top-ranked K-12 public education system means companies come here to hire people. And our vibrant manufacturing sector means people come here to make everything from jet engine components to revolutionary pharmaceuticals. All of these assets will outlast the political expediencies of the moment. They will provide opportunities for us and for our children and grandchildren, even as we navigate a new era of economic growth. The evidence of the economy of tomorrow is found everywhere in Massachusetts. Let me share with you one example. 20 miles from where I am standing, in the quiet town of Sunderland, a 6-year-old startup company called Florrent is designing and building high-performance supercapacitors using biomass waste that is sourced in the US, diverted from landfills, and put through a patented process to create a material that unlocks better performance at a lower cost when applied into these supercapacitor systems. Florrent supercapacitor solutions are used for applications like grid modernization, energy storage systems, and uninterruptible power supplies to improve power quality, reliability, and efficiency. Founded by Jose LaSalle, Joe Hastry, and Alex Nichols, and started at their alma mater of UMass Amherst, Florrent is seeking to capture its share of a global market for supercapacitors estimated at $15 billion. Let's go down the road to take a closer look. Welcome to Sunderland, Massachusetts, the headquarters of Florrent. I'm here with co-founders Joe Hastry and Alex Nichols. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in the lab behind us here.
So in our lab behind us here, we are creating the next generation of supercapacitor materials, what we call contoured carbon. Contoured carbon is the basis of our intellectual property and allows us to make the best supercapacitors in the world.
So for a non-scientist, explain a little bit about what a supercapacitor is.
Absolutely. So a supercapacitor is an energy storage device like a battery, but we like to use a marathon runner sprinter analogy to explain the difference between these two. So a marathon runner can run for a long time at a very steady pace, but ask them to sprint, that's just not in their wheelhouse. A supercapacitor is really a sprinter. It can go at max power for a short amount of time. And that actually becomes very useful and complementary to batteries, especially in applications on the grid. So are you familiar with Back to the Future and the flux capacitor? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So in Back to the Future, Doc and Marty, they use the flux capacitor to capture a lightning bolt and travel through time. We actually do mostly the opposite of that, which is that our supercapacitors, especially on the grid, can deliver a lightning bolt of energy and stabilize grid infrastructure as a whole.
That's amazing. So not traveling through time, but doing amazing things. Tell me a little bit about how many employees you have here at Florrent.
Yeah, so we're currently a team of 13 as of today, growing to almost 20 in the next couple of months. And that's thanks in part to some support from the state for some of our workforce development efforts in collaboration with a lot of partners out here in Western Mass, like Greenfield Community College, Mass Hire, we're basically trying to create a pipeline of local talent through local programming and infrastructure into clean energy careers, not only at Florrent, but at the growing number of clean energy employers out here. And so it's something that's been helpful to create the team that we're really proud of and happy with today, but something that I think will be really instrumental in our future hiring rounds as we continue to grow out here.
That's amazing. So you really are the definition of an innovative employer and a small employer. So what I'd love to know is, what is your take on the Massachusetts economy right now?
Yeah, I think, why we set up in Massachusetts, and we looked all over North America, all over Europe when we were really trying to establish Florrent a few years back. We ended up here because of the access to capital, the access to talent, and the access to the really innovative, cutting-edge ecosystems around technologies here. And I think that's consistent with what we've talked about in the past with you, Brooke, what Governor Healy's mentioned in her address. And those are the things that get us excited about the future of Massachusetts economy. Not only those existing infrastructures and programs, but the fact that we have government and leadership that supports and invests in those things so that innovations like ours that are still at the earlier stage can really grow and thrive here. So we're grateful to be here in Massachusetts. We know that not every state has that, especially right now. And excited to contribute however we can to that growing future of Massachusetts economy.
Well, you guys certainly are unique along with the opportunities here in Massachusetts. Talk a little bit more about the uniqueness of the supercapacitors and the work here.
Yeah, absolutely. So our supercapacitors have much higher energy density than others on the market right now, and that actually enables them to cover a broader range of technical challenges than a traditional supercapacitor. But under the hood, we also make a couple of tweaks. So first, our core intellectual property is around the activation of, I'll actually grab this right now, pecan shells, which are a primary biofeedstock. So these pecan shells, if we weren't taking them, creating activated carbon from them and putting them into supercapacitors, would mostly be just with this, rotting in a big pile outside of a shelling facility. So our ability to take these and sequester them in a solid mineral form as activated carbon is really what brings that uniqueness to our supercapacitor technology.
And really taking waste and turning it into energy, right?
Absolutely.
It's fascinating. So we've talked a little bit about the fact that Florrent was born out of the amazing higher education system that we have here in Massachusetts. Talk a little bit about that and, coming from the UMass system and the importance of your connectivity to our higher education system.
Yeah, absolutely. So all three founders are alums of UMass Amherst, and we're incredibly grateful to be back taking advantage of the really unique facilities at the university. So we originally incubated on campus in something called the Institute for Applied Life Sciences. We are currently in this space and will be moving to a space in Northampton shortly. But looking back, that was actually instrumental. The equipment access, the access to office space really helped us incubate Florrent and get to where we are now. I will say that we're on the campus of University of Massachusetts pretty much every week still, using an amazing user facility there.
So just the great collaboration between innovation and UMass and our institutions of higher learning. Let's also talk about something else, I think a unique asset to Massachusetts, right, which is green technology. And certainly your work is in sustainability. Can you talk a little bit about why you think that, again, is maybe a strength or a uniqueness here in Massachusetts?
Yeah, I think sustainability has always been core to what we're building at Florrent. It's something that kind of part of our origin story, the three of us all individually. It's important to us to contribute to well-being of the planet as well as people, locally and globally. And we each kind of found our ways together to build that here at Florrent. And doing it in Massachusetts, again, with the funding through institutions like Mass CEC, which has benefited us through grants, through interns, the services and equipment that we have access to at UMass is really unique. We looked far and wide when we were setting up Florrent a few years back, and there really is nothing that compares to what Massachusetts provides. And setting up here at UMass, like Alex mentioned, is probably the best decision we've made as a young company.
That's great. So really feeling the commitment from the state to the work you do is important. Something else, particularly for an innovator or small business, that's important is getting capital, right? So that you can grow. And I know you guys talked about how you're moving soon. Explain, you guys have been incredibly successful in this endeavor. Can you explain a little bit when folks are coming to you, investors are coming to you, what is it that they see in you? Why are they saying this is something we want to invest in? I think that's a really important message for other potential businesses like yours or entrepreneurs that are coming up behind you.
Yeah, one analogy that we've heard and that we really like to use now is the analogy of a surfer. And so the surfer themselves is the team that's really built on the vision and the mission, the values that they share, the skills that they have to go out and accomplish what they set out to accomplish. And we feel fortunate that through our team and the advisors that work with us, really have an exceptional surfer at this point. And the wave that we're riding is really the market. That's something that you can't necessarily control, but we're fortunate to have some great customers that we work with, and are riding a really strong market where things that even when we started weren't really factored in, like AI data centers coming online, this rapid integration of renewables has created a lot of opportunity and kind of tailwinds for us. And then at the end of the day, your board is what you need, and that's our technology and our innovation. And so you can't make it very far if your tech doesn't work, if your board doesn't work. And so we're fortunate again to have a technology that we've worked really hard at and have got some great input on to ride that wave that we're trying to do at Florrent.
I think that's a fabulous analogy. We say oftentimes in the economy, right, in business, there's ups and downs. And so that wave analogy is really, really important. But the foundation that is your board is very strong, which is why you have been successful. And we know you will be in the future.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, Brooke.
Meeting the surging global demand for electricity with the local and sustainable sources of supply seems like a winning path forward for Massachusetts. As we look ahead, it's clear that Massachusetts stands on a strong foundation of world-class talent, innovation, and our shared commitment to progress. From the labs of Kendall Square to the factory floors of Worcester, from the clean energy startups on the South Coast to the thriving small businesses in every community, our economy is evolving, adapting, and growing stronger. Yes, we face challenges, but Massachusetts also has unmatched advantages: a highly educated workforce, a spirit of collaboration, and a deep belief in the power of ideas to change lives. These strengths have carried us through past transformations, and they will carry us into a future defined by opportunity, resilience, and shared prosperity. As we begin the celebration of our nation's 250th anniversary, we are reminded that the journey toward democracy began with American Revolution right here in Massachusetts. Recall the words of Captain John Parker as he and his ragtag militia faced down the British Army at the Battle of Lexington and Concord. If they mean to have a war, let it begin here. Let it begin here. That phrase became a guiding principle for our Commonwealth throughout the birth of the United States and has continued to this day. It has defined the leadership imperative that has characterized Massachusetts in everything from the social contract to government to the economy. So let's move forward with confidence. Let's invest in our people, in our communities, and in the industries of tomorrow. Because if there's one thing history has shown us, it's that when Massachusetts leads, the world follows, and our brightest days are still to come.